Welcome back to Catholic Drive Time. This is your host, Adrian Fonseca. It's so good to be on with you today. Praise be to God. Joining us right now is Jason Jones. He's with the Vulnerable People Project. And we're talking about the Maui fires and what caused the fires and the response to the fires. Now, Jason, one thing that really concerned me when I saw these stories was the response. It seemed like there was just nobody cared, and people were trying to take advantage of the situation to start purchasing land, and that sparked a bunch of conspiracy theories. So what exactly was the response?
Yeah, there's no doubt that in the weeks, immediately actually, within hours of the fires, you had residents being bombarded with phone calls from predatory land speculators trying to buy up the land of the locals. You know, here's what you have to understand about a community like Lahaina. I actually had a donor. He said, Jason, I Zillowed the price of those average homes. Why would you want me to donate to provide Catholic education to families that live in $1 million homes? You know, a starter home in Hawaii is $1 million. A lot of these homes were in these families for 5, 6, 7 generations, going back into the late 19th century. And the homes are all they have. They make very low wages, and they may have a home that's been in the family for several generations, and it's worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. So when they lose their home, they lose their jobs, they lose everything. They may have lost family members. They lost their wife. They lost their children. They're utterly devastated. While the fires were still burning, while people were still missing, these speculators were calling folks. That's 100% true. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's not a rumor. It sounds absolutely unbelievable. That's true. And then you had the state of Hawaii step in and say, hey, don't worry about it, Hawaii. We're not going to let outsiders buy up this land. We'll buy it from you. Like, whoa, wait, what? What about, you have to understand these Hawaiian families and these Kama'aina families. And what do I mean by Kama'aina? It means children of the land. That goes back to the Hawaiian kingdom. There were those residents of the Kingdom of Hawaii who were native Hawaiians, and there were those who were Chinese and Filipino or Hali, Caucasian, Portuguese, whatever. They were also citizens of the Kingdom of Hawaii, but they were called Kama'aina. So you have in this community of Lahaina, Hawaiians and Kama'aina, and actually they're all intermarried, and it's just really one community. The idea of leaving Lahaina, even to another part of Maui, is heartbreaking and unimaginable. So for the state of Hawaii to come in and say, we're going to buy up your land, and you can go to California or you can go to Honolulu, on the island of Oahu, it's really it's unbelievable. And that's one of the things we want to do with our documentary. In fact, that's why we did the school so fast. The Vulnerable People Project got a Catholic school up and running in partnership with Epic Ministries in the Lanakila School, the Sacred Heart School. We got that school up in 2 weeks. And the reason we did that, one of the main priorities was, and most of that school came in on planes, boats, and we had to use jet skis to get around the Coast Guard because they didn't want us to unload our boats, but we did it anyways. I spoke to the students at the school, and we opened it up, and I said, you're at the only school in the history of the world where most of the things in the school at one point in their journey were delivered by jet skis. But that awesome. School took away their argument that they had to resettle these families on another island. We wanted to take that away from them as fast as possible. And not only, you're going to love this, Adrian, not only do we provide in-person Catholic education to hundreds of students, we offered online, we contracted with an online Catholic school education provider, homeschool provider for K through 12. We made that available to every student in Lahaina.
Wow. So
immediately, every student in Lahaina had access to an education, and actually a Catholic education at that. So
praise be to God.
That was so they weren't swept away. We didn't want these families to be moved. And now with their documentary, there's nothing more frightening to a grifter, corrupt politician than a camera in their face. And they're going to be, we're going to be descending on Hawaii with their film crews in late November, December, and January. doing this documentary investigating Lahaina because we're going to get to the bottom of it. Why were some of the roads blocked? Why wasn't the water released? Why weren't the power lines buried? Why weren't the breaks maintained? Why did the state of Hawaii attempt to poach the land rather than keep the people on their land? We want to get to the bottom of all of these questions to protect the families of Lahaina and to answer the questions a lot of people have. Because, as you said, there are all sorts of wild conspiracy theories involving Oprah, direct energy weapons. It can get pretty wild. Well, we're going to look at all of that, and we're going to dig down and get to the truth.
Mr. Jones, a quick question for you. Following that little thread there, one of the stories that I read that seemed pretty plausible, and you mentioned this grass that was lit by those power lines above ground. Well, one of these theories was that there were grasses that are not native to Hawaii that contributed to the devastation there, because they were just basically, super dry and not something that's native there, and so it just completely, it contributed to the devastation of the fire. Is that something that you've heard of?
Well, I think it more has to do with the overdevelopment and the not maintaining the breaks than the types of grasses that are there. There's no doubt that, in the past 150 years, even prior to contact with the West, you had the Polynesians bringing in species that weren't native to Hawaii. So, yeah, there are a lot of plants that aren't native, a lot of animals that aren't native to the Hawaiian Islands, and they cause a lot of problems. I don't really think it was the type of grasses, but it has to do with 100 years of overdevelopment. That was a very, that was a very lush area at one point, but with the plantations and then the housing development. But this all could have been prevented by maintaining the breaks, the fire breaks, maintaining those fire breaks, burying those power lines, and having water available. But the one thing I didn't mention is the water wasn't made available. The water was shut down, shut off because of the drought. And they said, well, water's precious. Well, one of the great frustrations is, and I'm sure you've seen these photographs, is you can see Mark Zuckerberg's home, Oprah Winfrey's home, and you could see these 5-star resorts. You could see the golf courses. They were lush and green, but where the working class, regular Hawaiians in Kama'aina lived, it looked like a desert. And so the water's being redirected to the resorts and to the homes of the very wealthy. But then the working class and middle class Hawaiians in Kama'aina can't even water their lawns.
Wow.
Couldn't even use water to put out the fires as they were raging towards their house at a mile a minute.
Yeah, that is
so
absolutely
these are a lot of problems.
horrific. Jason, I'm just, I'm blown away. Whenever I first heard the story, it's very difficult to figure out what was actually going on, and I'm happy to hear that that you have some information on what actually happened. I'm sad to hear it, but I'm happy to know the truth. Now, before we run out of time, I do want to make sure that we get a pitch for how people can support you and how people can get involved and start helping those vulnerable people.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. If you go to our website, thegreatcampaign.org, that's www.thegreatcampaign.org, you can donate to our various projects there, whether it's securing Catholic parishes in Nigeria that are facing attacks from Islamist extremists, to caring for our Afghan allies who are fleeing and hiding from the Taliban in Afghanistan, to continuing to work with and support the people and families of Lahaina, or to support the Catholic communities in Gaza. Our mission is to serve the most vulnerable people in the world. We look to, we say we're a human rights organization that lives on Good Friday. We want to be with our Lord when He's on the cross. We do that by serving the most vulnerable people in the world. And when you go to thegreatcampaign.org, become a donor, then you can know you too are living your life in solidarity with the most vulnerable people on earth. And because of our unique model, which is organizing the communities we serve to serve those communities, 92% of your donation goes directly to mission.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of organizations out there that people want to donate to, a lot of things out there that people give their money to. And we talk often about different organizations, how corrupt they are, and how we shouldn't be donating to them. But the Vulnerable People Project is one of those organizations that I am always comfortable with sending my money to, because I know Jason Jones is going to be on the ground in the places he's talking about, helping people and actually making a difference. So I always would encourage people to do that. Jason, before we have about 2 minutes left in our conversation, we talked about Hawaii, we talked about Afghanistan. What about the Christians in Gaza and Israel?
Yeah, I'm so glad that you brought them up. It is really heartbreaking. Israel has dropped more bombs in the past week than the United States dropped at the height of the war in Afghanistan in an entire year. There have been thousands of civilians that have already died. And this, of course, was in response to this barbaric terrorist attack committed by Hamas against the Israelis. But tragically, this ancient Christian community that ironically, the Christians in Gaza, when their DNA was sequenced, are genetically the most similar to the Jews that were in Palestine, in Israel at the time of Christ.
Wow.
So you have these Christian communities going back to the first century, to the See of St. James was the first bishop there, and they're trapped in the midst of this incredible violence. And we were, within hours, the Vulnerable People Project was knitted together with the local community. We're working with them, we're praying with them, and we're working to make sure all of their needs are met. We've been in direct negotiations. I don't even know if I should say this on the radio, with both sides, trying to gain commitments, public, in writing, press release commitments to protect these Christian communities.
Amen.
So they definitely need your prayers.
Amen. Amen. Our prayers are going to be with them. I know his Beatitude, Pisabala, asked for prayers and fasting today for peace and for the Christians and in these areas that are suffering so much. So we definitely will be doing that, and I would definitely encourage people to donate to various causes with the Vulnerable People Project. I definitely will be doing so, and so I encourage others to join me in that. But God bless you, Jason. God love you. And what's the website again?
It's www.thegreatcampaign.org. St. John Paul the Great asked us to launch a great campaign in defense of the vulnerable, and that's what we do.
Amen. Amen. Well, God bless you, Jason. God love you, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, sir.
And that's going to do it for the first hour. We're going to go to our second hour with Adam Bly, talking about the spirit world, coming up next. And stay with us. But remember, tomorrow, pre-recorded show. Thursday, pre-recorded show. Friday, pre-recorded show. So stay with us. All new content for you tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. But we will be live. So no Fear and Trembling game show. We'll be right back with Adam Bly right after this.
Our family had been going through crisis. Little by little, we just found ourselves drifting completely away. I was afraid to go back. I mean, I cried the first time I received the sacraments again. Cried because I was back and because I had allowed God to become a part of me again. It's united our family. There's peace in our home that we didn't have before.
If you've been away from the Catholic Church for any reason, visit catholicscomehome.org today.
This is Dale Ahlquist with a Chesterton Minute. Have you ever heard someone say, the Catholic Church would be okay if it weren't for all the rituals? Why do people complain about rituals in the church? They don't complain about the rituals that fill the rest of their daily lives. They shake hands, they sign their names, they put candles on birthday cakes, they give each other flowers, they put on fancy weddings and somber funerals. Those are all rituals. They are symbols. They are simple ways of representing complex ideas. G.K. Chesterton says, ritual is a need of the human soul. In fact, it's a need of the human body, like exercise. Destroy your impressive ceremony, and all you get in return is unimpressive ceremony. Want more than a minute? Visit our website at chesterton.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're currently cruising at 39,000 feet. We'll turn that seatbelt sign off for you and let you move about the cabin. Looks like we're about 2 hours and 10 minutes from landing. Plenty of time for you to say some prayers for the souls in purgatory.
Wouldn't it be great if everyone prayed often for those in purgatory? Why not start today? A friendly suggestion from Guadalupe Radio Network.
We are a young and diverse generation, helping those in need and promoting human rights. We care for the environment. We embrace authentic witnesses and dream of a better world. Our passion comes from God, who loves us even when we fall and cheers on our victories. If you sometimes wonder, is there something more? Then come and see at CatholicsComeHome.com.
And welcome back to Catholic Drive Time. This is your host, Adrian Fonseca. It's so good to be on with you today. Praise be to God. We just wrapped up a great conversation with Jason Jones, freedom fighter. You know, I cannot get enough of Jason Jones. That guy is the real deal, man. He's the real deal. He, like, something goes on and he's on a plane heading to the thick of it. And, you know, it's pretty awesome because some people want to sign up to go fight in war zones. But Jason Jones goes to bring medical care and food and supplies in war zones. I'm like, man, this guy, especially during the whole Afghanistan thing, getting people organized to go over there and get Americans out. Whew, I was like, man, this guy is crazy.
Especially after Ukraine, you know,
yeah.
He had crazy stories of, you know, he would run an ambulance there.
Oh yeah, one of their ambulances got blown up.
This is so crazy. Jason Jones, I wonder what his memoirs are going to be like. You know, they're just so. Think about you know how people say, who's that guy? He's the actor.
Got to give him more description than the actor.
He's the actor who everybody's like, oh, well, you know, you don't do this to him. He does this to you.
Oh, the one from the Dos Equis commercial?
No,
I have no idea.
Anyway, it's on the tip of my tongue here, but this is the actual real life version of that guy.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's, I mean, I'm very impressed with everything he does. And he's, his organization, the Vulnerable People Project, is one of the only places that I donate to. I donate to maybe 6 or 7 places because I just don't. I mean, a lot of organizations I just don't trust. I have to really know the people involved for me to be like, yeah, let me give my money away because you know it's just very dangerous.
Chuck Norris.
Oh, Chuck Norris.
This is the real life. Chuck Norris is like a loser compared to Jason Jones.
Ouch. Chuck Norris is a pretty nice guy too, man.
Yeah, he is nice. I'm talking about the meme version.
Okay. Well, there you go, folks. There you go. But we should be having Adam Bly joining us in just a little bit. And when we do so, we'll hop into a conversation with him. But I definitely am looking through his Jason Jones website right now. And his Hope for Hawaii, he has the URL hopeforhawaii.com. But right now, it seems like the website is down. And so I'm trying to see of how else I can access that because I want to donate specifically to the situation in Hawaii. I think they just got forgotten. They got forgotten so badly because, I mean, like we talked about, there was so many things going on all at the same time that Hawaii got put on the back burner and they are not being helped anymore. They're being forgotten. Luckily, Jason Jones is on the case, and being a native Hawaiian, he's not going to forget. He's not going to forget Hawaii. So I'm very grateful that he's working on that project, being able to get that going.
Yeah, I agree with that, Adrian. You know, I had a friend back in California. His name is Chris, and he was pretty informed with Hawaii. I think he might have been Hawaiian himself. And, you know, to speak to something that Mr. Jones mentioned is, you know, the people there, they hold on to their homes. It's a generational thing because it's almost impossible for you to find apartments or anything like that. It's very expensive to live in Hawaii. So if you're from Hawaii, there's a bit of contention there because it's hard for you to actually survive and be a resident there. And he was telling me that all of his friends in Hawaii, they actually share houses where it's almost an absurd amount of people in the same house, like 8 people per house, because it's that scarce to find housing there. It's a devastating situation for those people who lost their homes.
Yeah, it's interesting because the situation in Hawaii is it's like California but on steroids.
Yeah.
It's like worse than California. Like these people own these homes, like Jason mentioned. They own these homes and they're worth millions and millions and millions of dollars, but they make like a couple $1,000s a year. Yeah. And you're thinking, how on earth? But like you said, because they just pass these homes down from generation to generation. And I think that's probably how a lot of Californians have homes. Their families own those homes and stayed in those homes. But the other thing is, it's interesting to see the Hawaiian culture. They very much have a casualness. That's very interesting. I was hearing about this from a friend of mine who's with American Eats Fatima, and he goes on trips to Hawaii once a year. He takes a trip to Hawaii, and he does American Eats Fatima rosary rallies and brings the statue of Our Lady Fatima to people's homes throughout the different islands. And he says that whenever he goes, because the American Eats Fatima crew, they all wear suits. And so they go through and they're like, everybody's like staring at him because he's like the only guy in a suit, and he's like, even the business executives are like in a Hawaiian shirt.
They're
like
nobody Tommy Bahama.
Yeah, nobody wears a suit. Nobody wears a suit. He's like, to mass, everybody's wearing like sandals, flip flops, and I'm like, yikes.
Yeah, the same friend Chris was telling me that in some of the parishes, the sacred vessels, they have to have precious metal there, at least coated. I mean, I think some of them can be brass, but they have to have gold plating on top of it to hold our the Blessed Sacrament, our Lord, right? And he was telling me that there's a special dispensation for a specific city in Hawaii for them to use koa wood. And koa wood is like one of the rarest woods that you can find in Hawaii. It's almost like the trees there have been devastating. It's devastated. It's like really rare to find this type of wood. And so they use these wood bowls for Holy Communion.
Yikes. yeah. That's the part of it that I'm like, yeah, they need and maybe that level of familiarity is just too much. But the funny thing though was my friend was saying he goes to this hotel whenever he's there, and he always goes to the same hotel, and he stopped at the bar there, and he goes, it's been I don't know, a year since I've seen somebody in a suit come through here. And he's like, did they come this time of the year? Yes. At this hotel? Yes. That was probably me.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just a land speculator.
Or yikes. Oh, man. So I think it's kind of funny. But I'm also saddened by the lack of the Catholic faith over there. It's really just, it's not picked up the way it has in other places. And so I'm really happy that Jason Jones has got a Catholic school involved to be able to educate the kids in the Catholic faith. That's pretty awesome. And then get a Catholic homeschooling program to be put there. That's really awesome as well, because, it just hasn't took root in Hawaii as much as you would some other places. Very unfortunate to see that it just simply didn't happen. So definitely be praying for Hawaii. And as soon as I figure out how to get access to their website to donate, I'm going to be donating to the Vulnerable People Project, specifically to Hawaii, because I think that's somewhere, especially, a principle of subsidiarity. We should care for all people who are suffering, but we have to care for the people closest to us first. Take care of your family, take care of your neighbors, take care of your country, and then take care of others. So I think that's something that we should definitely be aware of. So something just to know and to think about, especially during this time of great crises. Speaking of the great crises, I was kind of bringing this up with Jason. He was talking about how it seems like there's like an uptake in crises, and he didn't really take a position on it. He was kind of, oh, well, maybe there are, maybe they're not. Maybe we're just seeing it more. What do you think, Rudy? Are we seeing it? Is there more crises?
Hard to say. It's hard to say because I'll tie it into this other theory I have, right? This other theory is that we are experiencing weather like we've never experienced before because we're so used to air conditioning. That's my crazy conspiracy theory, right? It's not actually warmer. I think it's just people are used to air conditioning now. Okay, so when it comes to news and events and stuff like that, I think we're just way more connected. And news has a way of just penetrating our life so much so because we have technology at our fingertips and those sorts of things going on that I think maybe we're more aware of what's taking on in the world. The other thing, too, is I imagine that, because of, in response to the availability of news and being so connected to people's lives, news agencies have an impetus to report everything and anything. The more salacious it is, the more able that people are going to be able to connect with it. And so we're seeing all kinds of scandalous stuff, but I think it's just to generate revenue. Generate clicks to their website, and kind of keep them afloat.
So that's Rudy's theory.
That's my theory.
Here's my theory.
We're in the end times.
Is we are not in the end times,
but there.
We are in the time of the great chastisement. I think it's simply, it seems like that's the case. Blessed Elizabeth Konori Mora. We have Blessed Anna Maria Taiji. These prophecies, then of course Our Lady of Fatima talking about the great chastisement, and it makes me think, January 16th, 1815, the angels showed Blessed Elizabeth, quote, many ecclesiastics who persecute Jesus crucified and his holy gospel under the guise of doing good. Like furious wolves, they scheme to pull the church leader down from his throne. Then she was allowed to see the terrible indignation these wolves aroused in God. In terror, I saw the blazing lightning bolts of divine justice fall all around me. I saw buildings collapse in ruins, cities, regions, and the whole world fell into chaos. One heard nothing but countless weak voices calling out for mercy. Countless people will be killed. But what terrified her the most was God's anger. She saw him extremely angry with those who persecute him. His omnipotent hands held bolts of lightning. His face was resplendent with indignation, and his gaze alone was enough to incinerate the world. The vision lasted only an instant, and then she recalled, had it continued for another moment, I surely would have died. And then later, in June of 1815, she saw, quote, the whole world in upheaval. The majority of clergy were killed. Countless men of all conditions died in the massacre, but not all were condemned, since among them were holy and faithful souls. And then on Christmas of 1816, Blessed Elizabeth saw a vision of Our Lady, who was, quote, extremely sad and outraged at the sacrileges against her divine Son. Our Lady stopped asking for mercy for the world and instead asked for God's justice. At that moment, all nature went into convulsions. The world lost its normal order and was filled with the most terrible calamity imaginable. This will be so deplorable and atrocious that it will reduce the world to the ultimate depths of desolation. And I was reading that this morning, and I was like, whew, that is hefty stuff there. But it shouldn't try to discourage us. Because at the end, we know that Our Lady of Fatima promised that her immaculate heart will triumph. And Blessed Elizabeth also predicted that in the end, St. Peter would return with St. Paul and cast the devils back into hell, and that a beautiful splendor would come over the earth and announce a reconciliation of God with mankind. And that all the church will be reordered according to the true dictates of the Holy Gospel. And that the fervor and zeal for the glory of God, and that everything will promote love of God and neighbor. There will be triumph and glory and honor of the Catholic Church will be established, and they'll be acclaimed and venerated and esteemed by all. All will resolve to follow her and recognize the Vicar of Christ as the Supreme Pontiff. And so this should be a message of encouragement, knowing that, yeah, it looks like things are getting pretty bad and it's gonna kind of a little scary. But at the same time, we should be grateful that Our Lady is going to intervene and that we're going to have the triumph of the Immaculate Heart and the reign of Mary. So let's pray for that today, that Our Lady's chastisement come and the reign of Mary come with it. But we're going to go into our Fear and Trembling game show. So call now, 877-757-9424. Today is the day to be able to call in because we're going to be giving away the coffee cup of Divine Providence or a replica of it, and the chances of you winning are incredibly high. So call in, 877-757-9424. We're only playing the game show yesterday and today. We're giving away the prize today. The odds of you winning are just like almost 50-50. 877-757-9424. That's the number. Call now, 877-757-9424. One last time, 877-757-9424. We'll be right back with Fear and Trembling right after this.
Are you feeling lost in a sea of overwhelm? Hi, this is Coach Felicity with Stand Tall Today Coaching Minute. Many people find themselves challenged with overwhelm. Too many things to take care of, too many people to please, too much work to do. And in spite of their best efforts, they continue to fall behind with this overwhelm coming in like a flood. But that's not the abundant life that Jesus wants you to live. That's why Stand Tall Today has experienced professional coaches that will assist you in dialing down that overwhelm. They'll help you get a grasp on where you are and to create a plan that enables you to take bite-sized steps of action so you can live an abundant life. Why not take your first step right now? Go to standtalltoday.com and find a coach that is just right for you. Because life is simply too short to stay lost in a sea of overwhelm. This is Coach Felicity with your Stand Tall Today Coaching Minute.
Over the years, people were treated as less than human because they were a different race, a different faith, or vulnerable. But over time, we must learn that we are all God's children, created in His image, that all human creation has an inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, a right to love and be loved. So let's cherish the sanctity of life, because we know how it feels when others treat us as less than human.
Welcome to another round of Fear and Trembling, the Catholic trivia game show that helps you work out your salvation by the seat of your pants. It's a 50-50 chance and prizes are involved. Avoid the weeping and gnashing of teeth. Call now to take your shot. 877-757-9424.
877-757-9424. Now, you may be asking, what am I listening to? What is going on? What's with all the fanfare? Who's that voice? Well, I have an answer for you. Well, I'm not going to tell you all those answers. What I'm going to tell you is that we're playing the Fear and Trembling game show, and I have 3 Catholic trivia questions right in front of me here. And the trick is, I'm not going to ask you the questions. No, instead, I'm going to ask Rudy the questions, and he's going to give me an answer. It's your job to tell me whether or not he's right or whether or not he's wrong. And every right answer goes into the coffee cup of Divine Providence to win this week's prize. Rudy, what could they win?
You know, Adrian, earlier this week, I talked about how DVDs are on their way out.
Right.
They've become a thing of the past.
Dinosaurs.
They've become relics of the past, relics of our childhood. And one day, perhaps, sometime soon, we may, in fact, run out of coffee cups of Divine Providence, replicas.
Oh, my goodness.
I think that day is coming soon. And so this week, we're going to give away a replica of the coffee cup of Divine Providence. I'm holding it up here if you're watching on our live stream. Beautiful chartreuse color interior.
Beautiful.
Guaranteed to make your coffee taste better. And it makes watching our live stream even better because you're sipping on a coffee cup of Divine Providence replica signed by myself and Adrian. And that's what we're giving away this week.
Wow. Praise be to God. I am absolutely blown away. And in fact, I think we only have 2 more replicas of the coffee cup of Divine Providence. So this is even more special, I would argue. So we're going to be doing that today. We'll be giving away that prize today. So praise be to God for that. Now, joining us right now is Kim and Tony. Good morning to you, Kim and Tony.
Good morning, Adrian. How are you?
I'm doing great. Praise be to God. Our dear friends Kim and Tony from the DFW area. God bless y'all. Where are you off to this morning? Heading to school?
Yep, headed to school.
Praise be to God. Now, I actually had the opportunity and the pleasure to meet Kim and Tony. They came into the studio a couple weeks ago, and I got to meet them. They were in town we are here for a wedding?
Yes.
That's
Bridget
right.
is Status's wedding.
Amen. And how did that go? Everything went well?
Oh, it was great. But honestly, going to see you guys was one of the most amazing parts of our trip.
Oh, wow.
Rudy, they came the day that your wife brought my mom bread.
Uh-huh.
And I just wanted to eat that bread the entire time.
Oh, man.
I was so tempted to eat that bread. I didn't, though. I survived. I didn't take a bite out of it. It made it home.
We promise you didn't.
Well, Kim and Tony, I'm sorry I miss you guys.
Yeah, us too. We'll come back.
All right.
There you go.
Sounds
Praise be
good.
to God. Now, Kim and Tony, y'all are veterans of the game. Y'all know how to play. What do y'all think? Y'all ready to play?
We're ready.
Oh,
Let's do
yes.
it.
I know that tie.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever won a coffee cup of Divine Providence?
No, we got to see one, though.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Well,
then.
this may
The
be
plot
the
thickens.
day. This may be the day, so we're going to find out. All right. Question number 1 for you, Rudy.
Okay.
The question on the board is a layman eligible to be elected the Pope?
Well, in my wildest daydreams, I get a call on the phone. They fly me out to Rome. They put me through. They dress me up in the red shoes.
They make you go through TSA.
The Swiss guards, they usher me into the loggia.
I'm
I
imagining this right now.
emerge as the curtain is drawn with pontifical grandeur not seen in years. I wave at the admiring crowds, and I say, my friends. And then Adrian shuffles me awake, and he's like, why are you sleeping on the job again? And my fantasy's gone, but I want to believe that, yes, a layman can be the Pope.
What would be your name if you became Pope?
Pope Athanasius I.
Pope Athanasius I.
Yes.
And as you're in that daydream, you have little baby Maria standing next to you.
No, I don't think so. I think that would be bad optics. I would probably send her to a convent or something.
All right, there you go, folks. All right, Kim and Tony, 15 seconds on the clock. The question on the board is a layman eligible to be elected Pope? Rudy says, well, I would like to think so. So, yes. What say you, Kim and Tony?
Is it going to be
I think no.
You're going to say no. Are you sure you're going to go with no?
Oh, we like Rudy too much. We'll go with yes.
So you're sure yes. That's what your final answer is.
What do you think, Tony? Yes or no?
I'm sure.
Okay, yes.
All right, let's see. Survey says that is correct.
Tony, you got my vote for Pope.
There you go, folks. There you go.
Right,
So any lay Catholic man can be elected Pope. That's very, very rare. There was a case where a deacon was elected Pope. He showed up, and the Holy Spirit descended upon him, and they were like, "Oh, well, I guess he's going to be the guy." So it happens. Something like that happens.
Wow.
So there you go, folks. All right, are you ready for question number 2?
Yes, I'm surviving.
All right, I hope you've been counting because here's your chance to count. How many authentic popes led the Catholic Church from St. Peter to Pope Francis?
All right, let's do a little bit of math.
All right.
The average lifespan of a pope
Right.
is about 60 years.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
50, 60. Let's reduce it down to 50. So it's been 2,000 years. Let's go with about 400-ish popes.
400-ish.
Yeah, that's my guess.
All right.
400.
So we're going to say like give or take 10.
Yeah, some of them lived a little longer. They were healthier.
All right. All right, Kim and Tony, 15 seconds on the clock. The question is, how many authentic popes led the Catholic Church from St. Peter to Pope Francis. What say you, Kim and Tony?
Oh my goodness.
Rudy says it's approximately 400.
Okay.
All
I
right.
think I'm going to shoot for... Whew, I'm going to have to say yes.
You're going to say yes. All right. Let's see. Survey says... Oh, Kim and Tony. That's not correct. The correct answer is 266 popes. There have been 266 popes from St. Peter to Pope Francis. And here's a way that I remember that. Back whenever Pope Francis was first elected, and I was in high school when that happened, I was making a joke with some friends because, my friends and I are nerds. And I was saying, I really hope Pope Francis takes the name Pope Sixtus VI, the 266th Pope, because I thought that would be hilarious. So if someone takes Pope Sixtus, they'll be 267th Pope. So there you go, folks. All right. Are y'all ready for question number 3?
I think, yep. I'm going for right time on December. Okay.
All right. Let's see if y'all can get this one. Question on the board, Rudy. Which is the term for the quality possessed by the church which guarantees that it will last until the end of time?
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that just really allows me to sleep at night. I don't have to worry about all the crazy stuff going on.
While you're dreaming about becoming Pope.
Yeah, exactly. It's this term, indefectibility. It's this wonderful trust in our Lord that the church will prevail even in the worst times.
It's a long word.
Indefectibility.
Indefectibility. All right. Indefectibility. That sounds like a real word to me. All right, 15 seconds on the clock, Kim and Tony. The question is, which is the term for the quality possessed by the church which guarantees that it will last until the end of time? Rudy says it's indefectibility. What say you, Kim and Tony? Is he right? Is he wrong? Or is he making up words again? What say y'all?
Well,
A hard one.
no, that's challenging. I'm going to go for he's challenging.
He's
You're gonna
challenging you, so do you think he's yes or no?
So I think he might be yes.
Okay, we'll try yes.
She's going to go with yes. All right, let's see. Survey says that's correct. Way to go. All right, Kim and Tony, your name is in the Coffee Cup of Divine Providence twice to win the prize. And that means that's a 50-50 chance of you winning because there was 2 yesterday, 2 today. And let's see, we'll get our drummer boy on the drums.
Drummer boy, give me a nice steady drum beat.
He's shaking up the Coffee Cup of Divine Providence. I can see the shaking going on. And that drummer boy is like getting exhausted over there.
Drummer boy.
Let's see. And the winner is...
This one or this one?
Do that one.
This one?
Yeah, that one.
This one.
That one.
Kim and Tony.
Kim and
Tony.
What?
Who would have thought?
Amazing. Crazy. What were the odds? Well, 50-50. That was that was the odds. Well, great job, Kim and Tony. Congratulations. Y'all are going to win the Coffee Cup of Divine Providence. How do y'all feel? Oh, did we lose them? Did we lose Kim and Tony? Oh, I think they might be gone. Oh, there they are. There they are. How are y'all doing, Kim and Tony? How do y'all feel?
Amazing. It was awesome. Thank you so much.
Praise be to God. Now, and I need y'all to stay on the line so we can get your contact information so we can send you the Coffee Cup of Divine Providence. But God bless y'all. God love you. And have a blessed day at school, Tony.
Thank you. You too.
I'm going to put you on hold. They said you too. I'm not going to school. I'm just kidding. I know what they mean. It's like that awkward moment when you're at the restaurant and the people are like, the waiter says, "Enjoy your food." Like, "Thanks, you too." And like, wait, whoops. All right. We're going to go into our after show, so make sure you join us. Hop on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Odyssey, and you can leave a comment, and we'll interact with you directly. And if not, we'll be back on Monday live, but tomorrow we have a brand new show, so it's all new show, never before heard, on Catholic Drive Time, so make sure you're tuned in with us, and we're going to be there. But no Fear and Trembling Game Show the rest of the week, because we're going to be at our Radiothon in Birmingham, Alabama. But God bless you. God love you. And we'll see y'all tomorrow. And we'll see you live on next Monday, 6 a.m. Central, 7 Eastern, across the Guadalupe Radio Network and Catholic Spirit Radio. God bless you. God love you. And I'll see you very soon.
Thank you for joining us on Your Catholic Drive Time, where it is our pleasure to keep you informed and inspired.
Join us Monday through Friday at the same time, right here on your favorite Catholic radio station.
Don't forget to connect with us. Just go to facebook.com/Catholic Drive Time.
Again, that's facebook.com/Catholic Drive Time.
Be sure to share more than just us today. Share Jesus with everyone you meet.
Bye now, and God love you.
And we're back. Welcome to the after show, where we talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Now, we had a bunch of comments in the chat, and then YouTube kicked us off. So that stinks. Everybody's gone now. We had a number of people watching, and now we're down to just 20 people on the line right now. White Wolf said indefectibility. That is a no-brainer. Said, imagine going through tonsure, all the minor orders and all the major orders, and episcopal consecration all in one day. That sounds exhausting. I wonder what the process is for that. I wonder if they do it all each individually, or they do it like all at once. Like if they're like a special ceremony to do all of them at the same time. I wonder. So I don't know. That's a good question. Grappling Catholic said, good morning. God bless everyone. God bless you, Grappling Catholic. It's good to see you on the line. Did you end up figuring out what you're going to do for work, Grappling Catholic? I know you were talking about potentially moving to, I think you said Kansas. Man, my tie looks all messed up. I just saw myself in the video for a second. I'm like, oh, yikes. Let's see. Annette said they did that in Santa Fe, New Mexico. The wealthy came in and forced the Native Indians out. Yeah, hearing stories like what Jason Jones telling us about the rich people coming in and getting rid of all the people there made me like, man, you know what? Maybe the communists are right. I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
Dude, you're going to get White Wolf losing his mind in the chat.
Like, I told you guys, Adrian is a modernist. No, but I mean, seriously though, not seriously about being a communist, but seriously, like capitalism, man. It makes me, I don't know. It's just bad. Capitalism is not good. What's the correct system? A monetary system? I don't know. Feudalism, maybe? Or...
Yeah, people freak out when you say that. Like, oh, feudalism. I don't want to be a serf. Listen, the serfs used to eat better than we did today. They had holidays off. They could go to mass. They had land. It may not have been their land, but they had plenty of land that they could use. And they had a better life than we do now. The quality of life is way better. And then we also hear the argument, but it's basically slavery. Like, guys, are we not slaves right now? You're enslaved in debt. You probably rent a house. It's not your house. So you reap none of the benefits of being a serf. And you still complain about it. I know the serfs were not slaves. I'm making an analogy here, White Wolf. But,
yeah.
I think we should go back to feudalism. And the food used to be better. Yeah. Think of all the scientific discoveries that we could apply to agriculture. And we could make being serfs great again.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the correct answer is, but I definitely lean towards that.
I lean towards socialism. Just kidding.
Grappling Catholic said, yes, sir. I'm moving to St. Mary's, Kansas in a few weeks. Awesome. Praise be to God. Give me an excuse to come to Kansas. I've been wanting to go.
You could go to the new, well, it's not a basilica, the new church there in Kansas.
I think technically it's a chapel.
It's a massive chapel. Oh man, that church is gorgeous, though.
It's like the largest church in Kansas.
Yeah.
And it's a chapel. That's so funny.
Technically, on paper.
On paper. White Wolf said they had a contractual relationship with the manor. They actually owned their own homes, and they had real inalienable rights. Yeah, they owned their own homes. They had a contractual relationship with the manor. Yeah, I mean, the whole lordship relationship makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, it's better than, it's like employer-employee relationship, but better, because then you're actually relying on your employee, and you have like a real relationship outside of just exchange of money and goods. The relationship exists, like you are living on my land. You are interacting on a personal level with each other's families. Yeah. Grappling says, yeah, it's beautiful. Went up there in May for the consecration and knew we had to move there. Praise be to God. So what are you doing in the area? What work did you find? I'd be curious. I have a friend who is trying to find work in Houston, and he's struggling, and he's thinking about moving to Kansas because the cost of living over there is cheaper.
Yeah. You know, the thing about Kansas, though, and I don't know, maybe I'm crazy or something.
You are, but continue.
I think that if you live in a tornado area, you should build your homes underground.
Okay.
Rather than above the ground.
But you want to not have windows?
You could put a TV in place.
Ugh. That's so depressing.
I don't know. There's got to be a way to build a building that's unable to be destroyed by a tornado. Right?
I have no idea. I mean, those winds are so powerful. I don't know how you could do that.
Oh, what if you build it on a foundation and the wind comes and it spins it? You know, like one of those weather things. So the winds, they gust really, like it has to be above a certain mile per hour gust, and then it'll spin the building. And it just diffuses the wind, right? How about that?
I have no idea. That makes.
Hey, can you patent that for me? Can you patent that for me?
I don't think that would work.
I don't want White Wolf to steal my idea.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that's going to work.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay, in California, they build these little, like, rubber bases. And when I say little, I mean, like, humongous rubber chunks.
Mm-hmm.
And the buildings sit on there, and when an earthquake comes, they sway on the rubber. So I'm thinking out loud, I think if we have a spinning house, it might be better for wind. Oh, and then we'll put a turbine in there, and so whenever a tornado comes, not only is your house spared, but it's actually generating electricity. You hit two birds with one stone. I'm a genius. Because the tornado takes out the power, you know? It takes out the power lines and stuff like that, so boom.
I'm over here thinking, like, I'm trying to figure out whether or not Rudy is serious or not.
I'm serious. I'm as serious as a heart attack. You know, when I was a kid, I invented the shark suit, too.
The shark suit?
Yeah, chainmail that you would wear.
You invented that?
I invented that.
Really?
And then it turns out it was a thing. I was
yeah,
like, wow,
I was
guess
thinking.
Great minds think alike, am I right?
I guess so. Dude, you're hilarious.
Dude, you're laughing now, but watch. In 10 years, they're going to make that. They're going to make a base for a house that spins.
All right.
I promise you.
Well, there you go, folks. They're going to build a house that spins.
That's what Grappling Catholic's going to do out there. He's going to become an architect.
Well, actually, he's going to sell roofs, but he's also planning on opening a jiu-jitsu gym soon.
He's going to sell roofs? See? That's what I mean.
He's going to be selling a spinning roof, maybe?
Big roofa. They always make profits out there, dude.
Grappling Catholic, how long till you leave? Maybe I'll come to San Antonio. You give me a crash course on jiu-jitsu. And then I can grapple with a Catholic.
You know the way to win in a jiu-jitsu fight is just to stand up?
Most jiu-jitsu guys, unless they're doing MMA, they don't really learn takedowns very much. I want to learn wrestling.
Jeff Burrier just like doused me in gasoline. He's like, dude, the plumbing pipes spin too. There's got to be a way to do this. There's got to be a way to do this.
This is like every conversation that Rudy and I have, where Rudy brings up this like conspiracy theory, and I'm like, but what about X? And then he just stares at me for a second. He's like,
All right, how do we fix spinning pipes?
Okay, I'm following.
All right, so when they drill oil, the pipe spins, right? Because the way that the water comes out, it's almost like a pump. It's like a pump action. So what if we added something like that?
Okay,
yeah, right.
Well, there you go.
Right. I mean,
good luck.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, there's a rule in engineering, the least amount of moving parts as possible, because the more moving parts, the more opportunity for failure.
Well, so if there was a spinning base, it implies that there would be a gigantic bearing underneath the house, and if it's anything like the bearings that were in my washing machine. The last washing machine that I had, which I endorse, like 100%, it'll probably get really noisy, especially if the water.
If you're in a tornado,
if the water mains break, yeah. How many times? Yeah, actually, maybe it would last maybe 2 lifetimes,
or 1 tornado.
No, at least 2, because how many tornadoes are going to pass through, right?
Well, Whitewell says you can actually make a plumbing joint that will allow the pipe to spin but still stay sealed. All you need is one of those flubber fittings.
Okay.
All right. So I guess you're teaming up with White Wolf to make this.
All right. I think this is a possibility. We'll present our ideas to a government contractor, and we'll get a government
when I make my $100 million on the side of making my Catholic Disney Corporation, I will also fund your project.
Tell you what, when I make $1 million off a scratcher ticket, we'll get started.
All right, sounds good.
The washing machine I endorse, as if it was a president. The Maytag Neptune line, now approximately 25 years old. Highly. No, actually, let's see. Neptune line started in 1997, which is a great year, by the way. So 33 minus 7, about approximately 25 years old now. If you could find a Neptune washer and dryer, whoo-wee, you're set.
Grappling Catholic says you should definitely come down and roll. Wrestling is greater than BJJ. BJJ guy is not learning takedowns is lame. Do you know wrestling, Grappling Catholic? Did you wrestle in high school? Because actually, I would honestly want to learn wrestling more than I want to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The problem is with wrestling, unless you're in high school, it's really hard to learn because there are no wrestling gyms for adults. Every single wrestling gyms is for kids. I guess it's because it's more of a sport, kind of like there's no football team for adults unless you're a pro. The same goes for wrestling, whereas BJJ is kind of just more popular among adults. So that's my guess of why that's the case. But I was searching around for a wrestling gym, and there just doesn't exist. I saw a couple places that have wrestling for kids, and then some that do BJJ, and they're like, oh, yeah, we do wrestling. We teach a little bit of wrestling with BJJ. And I'm like, I kind of just want to learn wrestling. So
I got a better idea.
Okay.
You build a foundation on top of a hydraulic base.
We're still on this.
And there's a void underneath the house. Okay. And where the water comes in, you can easily disconnect it. You can shut off the water line, disconnect the water main line. Like one of those, I don't know, think like a vault turning thing, like, and it just like pulls off. And then you hit the hydraulics.
Dude.
Like you're a lowrider in California. It goes pss, pss, lowers the house. And then you put an Astrodome cover on top of the thing. Protects the house from a tornado.
Anyway, Lori says, I have a coffee cup signed by the crew. It's never been used. It sits in a place of honor. Oh, praise be to God. Thank you, Lori.
When you close your eyes and just listen, doesn't it hum at you? It's so interesting.
What on
how
earth?
It just like,
that would scare me. I'd be like,
what is going
get
on?
this thing out of here.
All right, this thing's evil.
Lori says, do it, Adrian. I will. As soon as I get my millions, I will do it. I promise.
Which idea would you like to fund? The spinning house or the hydraulic house?
All right. Put in the chat. Which idea are you funding? Are you funding Rudy's idea or my idea?
What was your idea?
The creating our Catholic Disney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Catholic Disney co-op. I don't know what I'm going to call it. I don't know.
Tornado-proof houses or Catholic wire?
Yeah, there you go. Which would you invest in? White was probably going to be like, neither. They're both terrible ideas.
They're actually kind of bad ideas.
White said the government contractors are too busy figuring out how to make a building completely out of sand that will stand until their liabilities expire.
Honestly.
That's probably true.
Yeah, man. The quality of houses these days, horrible.
Grappling Catholic says there is a great wrestling gym in New Braunfels, I think. We do a little bit of wrestling, but I would not say I can wrestle. Bummer. Yeah, nobody wrestles. I don't know. Everybody does jiu-jitsu, but nobody wrestles. It's hard to find anyone who does wrestling. I want to know how to box, and I want to know how to wrestle. I think that pretty much covers the bases. If someone was like, I want to be the most well-rounded fighter, I would say BJJ, wrestling, and boxing. That covers you. You're pretty much good.
Oh, yeah?
Or BJJ, wrestling, and Muay Thai.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, can that stop gun fu?
It can stop gun fu, but it can't not stop someone that's trained in how to use a gun. Have you seen those gun fu videos? People are like trying to do martial arts with a gun.
Wow.
And they're like, God,
they're like curving the bullet.
Curve the bullet kind of type things. It's like, those guys look so dumb. But in close combat, a knife is more dangerous than a gun. They say that the amount of time you need to react to a gun, to a knife, you won't be your average person wouldn't be able to get their gun out and fire it before someone stabs you. So there you go.
Alberto's on the board for a triangular-shaped house. The wind blows past.
I wonder if that works. I don't know. That sounds too easy to be true.
Or if you're in a tornado place, maybe invest the least amount that you possibly could in your housing because you just know it's just going to get blown away.
What if you just step outside so that way you can go to Oz?
What if you just offered the tornado your cows?
Yeah, what if you just offer your firstborn into the tornado so it won't hurt you?
What if we actually make the movie Twister a reality? Didn't they make these things that would dissipate the inside of the tornado or something, made out of cans of aluminum cans or something like that? I think Pepsi sponsored the movie, and they had like Pepsi cans in there. Man, that movie terrified me when I was a kid.
White Wolf said, I think the greatest defense would be to practice cross-country sprinting. But that's just me. Cross-country sprinting? Isn't that a contradiction in terms? There's sprinting and there's cross-country. Yeah, you can't sprint cross-country. It's cross-country running or sprinting, which I would say, obviously, I think sprinting would be better than cross-country in terms of that because ain't nobody going to be running after you for a mile. And once you get out of the area, you're good to go. Probably like a good 40-yard dash is probably good. Yeah.
Have you ever sprinted with one of those parachutes?
Yeah.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty hard, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I always wanted to try
a lot
that.
Of resistance. It's kind of fun, actually. Yeah, I like it.
I bet if you do that a lot, your sprint improves a lot.
Yeah, it's all about generating power. Mm-hmm. That's what it's mostly for. Resistance training.
Now, would it be easier if you, if you worked out your legs on a machine or something like that? Is that the same?
No, because in the sprinting exercises, you are generating your fast twitch muscle fibers, and so you are getting more explosive power. Versus with rate training, you're just making them stronger. And so if you're just doing a machine, unless you're talking about a particular machine that I'm not thinking of, but the weight training machines are going to just make you stronger.
Interesting.
Kind of like boxers, lifting weights and getting big biceps will make you stronger, but it's not going to make you punch harder because you're not generating power because force is what? Mass times acceleration. And so it's really about torque and speed than it is the actual strength for those type of things. So for boxers, they will do one thing. They will do like kind of like the parachute, but for your arms. They will put resistant bands around you, and you'll hold the resistant band, and then it's pulling your arm back, and you're throwing your jabs that way.
It's like the dream simulator, the dream fight simulator.
Don't know what that is.
Because when you punch in a dream, it feels like you can't. You do it in slow motion.
Unless you're Don Bosco.
Or you're like pushing through water.
You know that story?
When he wanted to beat up the kids?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He punched a kid in the face in a dream because he was blaspheming.
Was he old in the dream, or was
he was
young?
a kid?
Oh, he was a kid.
It was when he was a kid.
So when he was a kid, he punched another kid in the face.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he...
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, that's important. And he woke up, and his fist was bruised. So, yeah.
Did he punch the wall?
I don't know. Honestly, Don Bosco's dreams
are wild.
They were like real life. Like he would when he touched the gate of hell, he woke up with 3rd-degree burns on his hands. So I don't know. I don't know how that works. Grappling Catholic says Adrian the scientist. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but at the same time, I watch a lot of videos on sports training and stuff like that. I know I don't look like it. This Adonis of a fitness, right? But no, I mean, I like that kind of stuff. I was actually watching a video yesterday about there was some scientific papers that were just released on the topic of generating punching power, because it's been debated for a long time among the boxing community that you cannot make yourself a more powerful puncher, that it's genetics. But honestly, personally, I don't believe that. I don't buy that, because it makes sense to me that you can always, like, okay, I say genetics is like a cap, right? Like there is a limit to how good you can be based on your genetics, but you can train, because where you are at currently is probably not at the peak of what you could be. And so you train to reach that peak, is what I would say. Pretzel says, some guy in San Diego built a spinning house for his wife on a hilltop so each room could get the good view. He designed the plumbing stuff to spin also, selling it now. Very expensive. There you go, Rudy.
Okay, I'm looking at a house that is a rotating house.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to put it in our Telegram chat. This is not what I thought it would be, but something similar to this, lower to the ground, would be better. How much time do we have? I'm going to send this to Taylor. Taylor, put this on. Don't put the audio on. We haven't vetted the audio.
Yeah, who knows what it is. White Wolf said, this nation is about to be annihilated and you guys want to practice wrestling? Well, the nation's about to be annihilated and you're watching YouTube, so. Okay, let's see. He said, I am rather working on dragging Minnie through those pearly gates after me. And what are you doing to do that? I'd be very curious. Let's see. I want to see this video too. What are you sending? Let me see if I can pull up what you sent. I didn't get it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Came through.
Okay, something like this. Obviously not made out of glass. But
oh my goodness, that's a terrible idea.
Dude, no, I'm telling you, this is it. This is the future. I don't want it to be so high up though, because I feel like that wouldn't work either.
That sounds like the worst. I would hate that. I would get sick living in a house like that.
Okay, so it's not always going to spin like that though, because any little breeze. That's why I said it has to be a certain type of like mile per hour wind for it to actually start spinning. Mm-hmm. Because if it was just anything, I mean, this is like a little breeze can push this entire house. Also, I am not a fan of these houses that are just completely okay. That's tilting now. It's a tilting house. Okay. Oh, never mind. I don't know if we're watching this. Okay, we are. I'm not a fan of these houses with just windows like this. The exhibition houses, like, not a fan. I'm not a fan of that. It's so odd, though.
Nah, dude. I'm out.
I want a traditional house, low to the ground, that can rotate like this. And Nick on the Telegram chat said there are rotating joints and unions.
Here you go.
So that works.
Here, Rudy. Here's the San Diego house we're talking about.
Is this the round one?
Yeah, the one that rotates.
What in the world? I'm getting an ad. Okay, let's take a look. Wow. Okay.
Rudy says, I'm getting an ad, like he's absolutely shocked.
Yeah, I have ad block on.
Oh.
I will not. Wow, look at this. He even goes into detail about the plumbing. That is fascinating. So this is the kind of house we need in Kansas. Where else are there tornadoes? Maybe not a round one like this. I want it to be more traditional.
There you go.
That could be the foundation.
Says wrestling will make you mentally tough, which would be incredibly useful if the country is annihilated. The country will definitely be annihilated. Yeah, I think so.
I don't know, man, because I think there's going to be FUDs, people who hoard ammo, and they're going to be out causing a ruckus.
White Wolf says power equals work over time. Yeah, that's right. Work times time or work overtime? I think it's work overtime. I forget. Work is force times distance. Obviously, if you make a muscle bigger, that increases force, which increases power. I don't know why making your muscles bigger would make increase in force. It might make you stronger and make you weigh more, and weighing more will actually make you punch harder because it's mass times acceleration. And so mass times acceleration makes you, so if you're, that's just why there's heavyweight divisions, right? You don't want a heavyweight fighter fighting a lightweight because even if everything else being equal, their punches are going to be
a lot heavier,
way more powerful.
Hey, White Wolf, drop your Substack. I want to read it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, what's your Substack? Ashley says there's a building like this in Disneyland.
Okay, so my love, I just found my next career. Okay, I'm going to be building houses in Kansas, places with tornadoes. I'm going to be building houses that have rotating bases.
She's like, we just got here.
Yeah, sorry. I know you really enjoy the community here, but we're going to be moving, okay? We're going to move to Kansas. And
going to be next door to Grappling Catholic. He's going to do the roof.
He's going to do the roof. And I'm going to build these houses that have spinning foundations so that when tornadoes come through, the house spins instead of gets destroyed. So,
let's see. I found White Wolf on Substack. Is that you, White Wolf, or is that someone else? The Grand Convergence, Our Lady. Yeah, that has to be White Wolf. The Grand Convergence, Our Lady Fatima, the October Surprise, and the Vatican Synod.
By White Wolf.
By White Wolf.
White Wolf, what's your real name? Can you name dox? Can you face dox yourself?
Yeah, why are you anonymous? Let's see. Who's coming after you?
Can we get your social security number? Can we get your P.O. box?
I'm going to read your Substack later. I'm saving it. I'm sending it in our chats, my Rudy and I's chat, so I can watch it later. Let's see.
Michael Bradley, he says. Like the guy who invented the tank?
Michael Bradley. Wow, that's kind of a cool name, actually.
Michael Bradley.
It's kind of a very Chad name. Let's see.
He puts down his business card.
Yeah.
That's Cyrillian Braille. Color is
White
bone.
Wolf said force equals mass times acceleration. If the muscle is bigger, it has more mass. Well, yeah, that's what I just said. But muscle doesn't make, it has nothing to do with muscle, though. It's about mass. Let's see. Alberto said he's off the grid. That's true. Oh, Ashley says there's no way you can make me go where I can be sucked into the sky. There you go. That's hilarious. We'll see. It'll probably be fine. The chances are you'll be fine, Ashley. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's only like a 40% chance of you getting sucked into the sky.
There we go again. My wife not believing in me. You're not going to get sucked in the sky. That's the whole point of this rotating house.
Well, she's saying until you build it, because she knows that you can and will, but until then, there's a great danger of being sucked into the sky.
Oh, Grappling Catholic. I got a better idea. Okay, so check it out.
Here we go.
You know how when you're in a windy situation and the umbrella just kind of like sucks inside?
Oh, yeah, that's so annoying.
Yeah, it is annoying until you put that on the roof, and that way the roof doesn't suck itself off, right? It just like it doesn't come off the house because it's already like upside down. Oh my goodness, I'm a genius, guys.
You're banned from having ideas. You're not allowed to have ideas anymore.
I'm going to draw this right now. I'm going to put it in the chat.
Ashley said, LOL, so just spin around until we all vomit.
Yes, exactly. But the house is okay. Man, I don't know.
Griley Catholic says, ha ha ha. Oh my goodness.
Here, so just,
man.
So it's like an upside down triangle.
Oh man, that's so funny. Wyo said, you probably won't like my Substack. It definitely gives the church bad optics. True. All right, I'll read it. I'm down. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Our Lady Fatima, pray for us. You are our only hope. White Wolf. Man, you have a lot of Substacks. It's a lot. Wait, there's one here. Why Catholic drive time is dumb. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I wouldn't be surprised, though. All right, guys. God bless you. This is going to be the last after show for the week. If you're on a Telegram chat, then we'll talk to you. We'll share pictures of our trip. But if not, then we'll see y'all next Monday. God bless you. God love you. And make sure you watch our shows this week. Leave a comment. We'll be checking those comments. God bless you. God love you. And I'll see you very soon.
Thank you for joining us on Your Catholic Drive Time, where it is our pleasure to keep you informed and inspired.
Join us Monday through Friday at the same time, right here on your favorite Catholic radio station.
Don't forget to connect with us. Just go to facebook.com/Catholic Drive Time.
Again, that's facebook.com/Catholic Drive Time.
Be sure to share more than just us today. Share Jesus with everyone you meet.
Bye now, and God love you.